Am I the jerk for not rehoming my cats when my baby daddy's new wife is deathly allergic? Posted by you/super accountant 943. I, 24F, have recently gotten new cats. My daughter, 6F, has always wanted cats. She's obsessed with them and frequently says, "All I want in this world are cats." However, my baby daddy's, 25M, new wife, 25F, is deathly allergic to cats and has been hospitalized once because of it. I have multiple friends with cats, and my daughter is frequently around them. She plays with them and then goes over to her dad and his wife's house, and there has never been a complaint about allergies. I was told by his wife that she would start taking allergy shots, and would be good to go in about a month. I found the perfect sibling pair of cats from an adoption agency in my area, Adopt, Don't Shop, and with the info that it would be about a month, I had a friend agree to watch them during the transition period. I also planned to take precautions, giving baths, changing clothes, etc., if my daughter did see the cats. Well, yesterday I let them know that she had briefly come in contact with the cats, but she had been bathed and put in freshly washed clothes that hadn't been in the same house as them. I was still told to take her to her grandparents' house for another rinse-off and change of clothes, just in case. After dropping her off, I received a call from my baby daddy where he told me his wife could no longer get the shots since they just found out she's pregnant, so he would like the cats rehomed or returned to the adoption agency. My biggest concern is for my daughter, and I genuinely believe that if the cats were taken from her permanently, it would be traumatic, considering how long and how badly she's wanted them. Not to mention the resentment it would cause toward the wife and the new baby. Also, it's just a horrible thing to do, giving a pet a new home after being rescued, only to take it away again. I would also be effectively blacklisted from all rescues and agencies if I were to do that, and rightly so. I ended up getting another call the next day saying they were in the ER for hours and spent a bunch of money on the visit, and that the cats need to be rehomed. But like I said before, my daughter has been around cats many times and has gone over there afterward, and there's never been an issue. I find it hard to believe that after 2 baths and multiple clothing changes, it truly caused such a bad reaction that the hospital was necessary. It's also important to note that the 3 of us haven't always gotten along, especially since the wife was my best friend for a while before I found out she got with him. We were on very bad terms for a long time. So I find it hard to give up something my daughter and I have been so excited about, and I've worked so hard to get to a place where we can have pets, only to be told we can't, because of their decision to have a new baby. So now they're still asking that the cats be returned or rehomed and making me feel like I'm the bad guy. Am I the jerk? Top/relevant comments. Commenter. My first thought was either both of them or the new wife are trying to push this kid out now that the new baby is in the way. Ops response. So it's actually the opposite. He's now trying to get me to give up my time with her until they figure out what to do, so they don't want her to come over here at all until then, so that she isn't re-exposed and sent back to the hospital after another switch-off week. I told them this is not going to happen, as my time with my daughter is the most valuable to me, and they're mad that I won't give her up. I've told them I'm willing to take her as long as needed until they figure it out, but obviously, that was not taken well. Commenter 2. Wait a damn minute. So your baby daddy's wife was your ex-best friend? Were they having an affair when you were still with him? Ops response. So we were never married. We dated a long time, and there is some speculation they might have been together when we were. However, they deny it. But regardless, the same day we broke up, they were at her place together that night, and she lied about it. They've been together ever since, so shady is a friend no matter whether it was during or not. Commenter 3. You are a much better person than me or just a soft touch. They have no right to dictate what goes on in your home, just like you can't dictate what goes on in theirs. I would put this under the category, not my problem. Ops response. I've been trying really hard to be nice about it to not rock the boat, since I don't want to deal with the co-parenting when they're mad at me or whatever. But my patience really is wearing thin with how much it seems I'm supposed to just smile and nod, especially when I've been super forgiving and accommodating about the past. I feel it's not fair to villainize me over this. Op adds an edit to her post. Also to add that they were both aware for a long time that the end plan was to get cats as soon as possible. That's why she was going to start the shots. They were not blindsided by this plan. I told the wife when I got them, and it was fine before they found out about the pregnancy. Op adds a second edit to her post. Since, for some reason, I have to preface this was not done in retaliation, out of spite, or anything of that nature toward the wife. We just moved to a place where we can have cats, we couldn't at the previous place. I've wanted cats since before I even knew the dad in high school. I do not think about them when I'm not directly speaking to them, so adopting cats was purely for the joy of me and my daughter, not to cause problems. Again, they knew this was happening, There were no issues, and the cats were adopted, and they were informed before finding out she was pregnant. The plan was fine then, so this was not an attempt to make life harder for the wife. Update 2 months later. Thank you all so much for your feedback and suggestions. I'm not going to be giving many details, as it's now going to court. I ended up offering to feed the special food a bunch of y'all suggested for allergies, thanks again, use sprays, quarantine clothes, etc., and they told me they are not willing to even try those, the only option is to get rid of them. The wife has now tried, and failed, they couldn't find a judge to sign it, lol, to put a restraining order on me that states if I don't get rid of my cats, then I'm banned from seeing and having all contact with my daughter until I do. Obviously, this is wildly excessive, and I have an abundance of evidence to disprove the severity in her claims that I'm trying to harm her on purpose. My daughter let it slip that the wife's parents have cats that my daughter pets when they go to visit, oops. But even more so, when I talked to my psychiatrist about this at our last appointment, she felt that my cats were necessary for my anxiety disorder. We have talked about me getting ESAs for a while now, so she wrote me a note, and they are now officially my legal support animals. This should take care of the restraining order. However, I was also served with papers, as many of you guessed, trying to take my daughter from me. Apparently, the wife has been keeping a calendar of all the days I've had my daughter versus her. She started this calendar before they were even engaged, wild, to try and show they should get my daughter since they had her more on paper. However, this is due to the fact that I needed to save up some money in order to put down the first and last month's rent, etc., at my new apartment, so she offered to help as much as I need and encouraged me to pick up extra shifts so that I would have my finances in order. She is now using those times she helped against me and saying I can't care for my daughter on my own with the job I have. I'm honestly sick to my stomach that I've tried so hard to be the bigger person, constantly put up with their shenanigans and crossing boundaries with a smile on my face for the sake of my daughter, all to be once again stabbed in the back by the both of them. They don't really have a case, and I have a lot more on them than they have on me, so I'm not worried, just disappointed that people are truly this evil even after you try to give them the benefit of the doubt. Top/relevant comments. Why not get a restraining order? I don't know, I have to ask my lawyer, but honestly, I'm scared of her because of how psychotic she is. She's been trying to build a case to take my daughter away from me for a year, and I've tried to be super nice and let her be involved in planning my daughter's birthday party, which I had to have a talk with her about afterwards regarding boundaries that a girlfriend at the time shouldn't cross. I've offered to take our dogs, my parents' dog and hers, to the dog park together, invited her to zoo days, etc., all to try and help our relationship, or at least, I don't know, pretend some normalcy for my daughter's sake. The fact that during all of this she's had a smile on her face, and here I'm like an idiot thinking, okay, this is doable, I can manage this, only to be hit out of left field that they've been plotting against me the whole time. Truly, it's giving psychotic that she could just do that and not show any guilt? Commenter. Custody is between you and baby daddy, not you and the new wife. If he wants visitation, that can be arranged outside of their home. The logistics of that are for him to figure out. You aren't responsible. Ops response. Yeah, it's all filed under his name and from him, but I was informed it was her keeping track on her own volition. Commenter. She can keep track of whatever she wants. She's not part of the custody agreement, and her allergies don't dictate what you can and can't have in your house. Second update 6 days later. Thank you again to everyone who has offered advice and support. This will be quick. We had court, and the judge denied their case and had extremely harsh words for both of them. She told them it's not my responsibility to deal with her allergies at my house, they need to come up with a solution on their end or relinquish his rights to me if it's truly that serious of an issue. She also told the stepmom she's not a parent, should never be listed as such, and needs to back off. There was a whole lot more, but I'll just leave it at this: the case was thrown out, and I've been validated that I've been more than accommodating when it's not even my problem to deal with, and my daughter can keep her cats. Thank you all again. Top/relevant comments. How did they respond? Not a peep from them. They went in super confident and talkative. By the end, they walked out with their heads held low. Don't think they expected to be scolded by the judge. Where was the stepmom listed as a parent? At the school, she listed herself as the primary parent. Claimed it was an accident after being caught in court. Commenter. Did this hearing address her calendar? Ops response. Yes, he admitted she wrote the whole thing, and it's dated starting from when they moved in together, so it just made them look even worse to the judge. It was obviously the wife, girlfriend at the time, planting issues and plotting. She asked him if he had ever personally kept a calendar before that date, and he said no, so she basically disregarded it from then on.